So you're a tarot reader who is curious about Lenormand. Maybe it's because you're wanting to add a little bit more specificity to your readings or a little spice as well. It could also be just because Lenormand calls to you and it seems pretty cool. If this is you, then welcome. This video's for you. My name's Emily Rose. I'm a professional Lenormand and tarot reader, and I also teach tarot readers and the mystically minded to read Lenormand like they're talking to a friend. And today we are talking about 2 easy ways to integrate Lenormand into your tarot practice. In my opinion, Lenormand is one of the easiest ways to add specificity to your readings. And don't get me wrong, you can get really specific with tarot or oracle cards as well, but there's just something about Lenormand that hits different. It can just get so granular, and it just keeps your clients, your friends, your family, and yourself coming back for more and more. And if you combined Lenormand and tarot, many of you have heard me say this, but that makes you a card reading unicorn because your readings are just going to be so multifaceted, and it's just going to give people a variety of views to look at their life through and to get clarity and answers through. Also, if you already know how amazing Lenormand is and you're wanting to add it to your tarot practice, that's one of the best ways to learn Lenormand. By pairing it with the system you already are comfortable with and know, you're going to learn much faster because it's going to reinforce the messages that you're getting from Lenormand. So integrating Lenormand into your tarot practice has so many benefits, and it is one of the best ways to learn Lenormand. Be sure to stick around until the end because I'm going to share with you a spread that you can try out with Lenormand tarot and oracle cards if you want right now. Before we jump into the video, I want to tell you about a free workshop that I am hosting. I want to invite you to my new live hands-on workshop, Lenormand for Beginners. This workshop is on Sunday, October 8th at 10 a.m. Pacific time, and inside we are covering how to read Lenormand. Yes, for real, we are going to learn how to read the cards, and not only that, but we are going to put into practice what we learned right away by practicing card combinations and 3-card spreads. Not only will you learn to read Lenormand, but I'm also spilling my tips on how to set up your future readings for success. And at the end, we will talk about my Lenormand Learners community, which is a membership for Lenormand lovers. If you are finally wanting to find your groove with Lenormand, join me by registering for the workshop at emilyrosedivination.com/workshop. If you can't make the workshop live, that is okay. Make sure to register anyway, and I will send you the replay. I can't wait to see you on October 8th. So I'm going to start off by showing you how to add in Lenormand into your daily tarot draws. Now, this is just an idea. The whole idea is that this is a jumping off point, giving you ideas, new ways to think about using Lenormand into something maybe you're already doing. You may already be asking tarot for advice. You may be asking what the general feeling of your day is, something like that. And I'm going to show you this spread here that's really easy to add in and incorporate it with tarot. So we're going to start off with the Lenormand aspect and then add in tarot. And with Lenormand, this is not a hard and fast rule, so, take this with a grain of salt, but you do typically predict with Lenormand when incorporating it with tarot. Not always, but a lot of times that's kind of how you can think about it. Use Lenormand for prediction, tarot for advice. You can do vice versa, but just as a general rule of thumb as starting out, that's probably going to be easier for you. So the first question I'm going to ask is, what area of my life is coming into prominence for me today? And here we have the star. Now, this is a real example that I pulled the other day, so you're getting to see a real example and the outcome and things like that. So the star is about hope, dreams. It's also about your goals in the future. So when it comes to the area coming into prominence, I'm thinking that this has to do with my future goals and ambitions and things like that. Now, this line here is what will happen surrounding this main area of my life. So this is what will occur today. And remember, we're in a daily context, so it's going to be pretty minuscule in terms of the actual impact on my life. Most likely it's one day in time, so it's important to remember that as you go through it. So let's see what will happen surrounding this. And we have the clouds, the clover, and the ship. Now, I'm reading this in the standard Lenormand fashion, and this is a little bit different of a method than what you may be used to if you took my mini course. So I'll walk through it with you. So the first card here is the cloud. So clouds, we're talking about confusion, worries, doubts, things like that. We have the clover following it, which is opportunities. And then we have the ship, which this is moving. It can be away from, moving to, things like that. So the vibe that I'm getting here is that I'm worried about opportunities passing me by. That was the phrase that I saw immediately. Worried about opportunities almost leaving before I had the chance to act on them. So to put this simply, I'm going to be worried about my future plans, and I'm worried that some opportunities are maybe going to pass me by today. Okay, so you see how we got a pretty cool reading already from Lenormand here, right? So let's go ahead and add in our tarot cards. So one thing I like to do, especially when you're learning Lenormand, is to ask a similar question of tarot. Because if you ask a similar tarot question, then it's going to reinforce this reading that you have and help you understand your Lenormand cards better. So the question we have here is, what is the main vibe of the day? And we have the Three of Wands reversed. And when I look at the Three of Wands, let's just look at it upright. I see someone who's looking out on the horizon. They're looking out there, kind of wondering what's out there, plotting their next move. This is a very future-oriented card, in my opinion, so it echoes our star here. And when it's reversed, I think about it like the grass isn't always greener kind of thing. We're always looking to the next thing, and we're kind of not seeing what's right in front of us, right? So that's kind of the message I take away from that. And the other thing too that I got from this card is that looking at these lost opportunities and focusing on that isn't going to help me with anything. It's just going to get me feeling listless and like I'm neither here nor there. I'm not in the present. So that's kind of the feeling I'm getting from this Three of Wands reverse card as a general vibe, which completely echoes the Lenormand reading that we have here. Now, this is a little bit of a tough draw, right? So I don't want to leave myself hanging. So I'm going to pull another tarot card and ask for advice. And we have the Strength card. And one of the words that comes up for me when I see the Strength card is compassion. She's taming this lion. She's not forcing it, but she's gently maneuvering it. And this is a day where compassion is really going to be needed. And also knowing that you have the strength to make it through any situation. Her strength is infinite here. So on this particular day, when I drew these cards, I was very sick with this same illness I've had for about 3 weeks now. And I just was feeling down about not being able to do all the things I wanted to do, feeling like I wasn't ever going to get this time back, and I was just going to lose so much progress on the things that I had been working on, and that some opportunities might pass me by. So this reading really did resonate for me. But what it helped me see is that, okay, I'm in bed for the day, I can't really get up and do things. And so I decided to just hang tight in bed and read and watch movies. And I got this really nice, restful time that I truly, truly needed. I had compassion for myself instead of shaming myself. And I was able the next day to catch up on a lot of the things that I wasn't able to do this day. So you see how you could just pull Lenormand. You see how you could just pull tarot, but you see that the two together really talk to each other, and you get this really cool, well-rounded reading that's fast to read and gives you a sense of what to encounter today, and it helps you adjust your mindset for what you're about to encounter so you can make the most of your day, your week, your month, or if you're pulling a grand tableau, even your whole year. Now, if you love this kind of spread, inside my membership Lenormand Learners community, I am going to teach this in depth just within the first month. So you can start using this in your practice within the first month. Of course, you can give it a shot from this video here, but I always like to know the ins and outs of things and have some practice. And also there's going to be some really cool downloadable PDFs that you can use on your digital planner if you're a digital planning person, or you can print out and use writing it down. So this next spread that I'm going to show you is going to look pretty similar, but we're going to ask different questions with it. So this is a great spread to use when you feel like you're repeating the same patterns in your life. If you feel like you're trying different things, but you kind of still end up at the same place, this is going to be a really great spread to try out. So the first question is, where am I on my spiritual path right now? If there's anything that I've learned from being a reader, it's that whatever is happening on the spiritual plane is going to be reflected in our daily lives in one way or another. And we're not going to change our circumstances most likely until we make that spiritual leap in consciousness. I know that that sounds a little far out, but with Lenormand, we get really granular into exactly what that means. So first question, what am I currently learning on my spiritual path right now? And we have the Modern card. This is from one of my favorite oracle decks. It's called the Modern Nirvana Oracle. I am just obsessed with it. I have been using it all the time. I have it linked down below where you can purchase it if you are into this deck as well. This card has been coming up so much in my readings lately. I've probably drawn it, 10 times over the last month. I'm not even exaggerating. A lot. And the message that I'm getting from this card is to blend the old with the new. And also finding a way to use technology to your advantage and not the other way around. So making technology work for you and finding smart ways to do that. So that's kind of the key message of this card. So here is where we're going to add in Lenormand. So with Lenormand, we're going to ask, how is this lesson appearing in my life currently? This is going to show you how it's actually showing up in your life. This is probably going to be like, oh, when you see this. I have the first card here, which is the fox, and I'm kind of reading this in the similar way. This is the main way it's showing up. And then these three cards are talking about kind of what's happening surrounding this area. So we have the fox. The fox can be all about work if it's charged as work. I didn't charge this as work. So I kind of see the fox here as strategy. And I see the fox as also your critical thinking. That's another way that I look at the fox card. And then below that, we have the man, the child, and the lilies. So immediately I went to the man being my husband, the child being my child, and the lilies being time. Lilies is one of my key time cards, and it's a slow time card. It's enjoying your time typically, unless there are challenging cards that surround it. The sense that I'm getting here is using technology, using the modern things that are available to me to do something that is really quite old, right? Which is spending time with your family. That's not a new concept. So it's saying the way that this lesson is showing up is through using time wisely. I'm one of those people that I like to give a lot of my time. I'm always trying to make things better. And a lot of times when I give so much of myself to my work that when it comes to my family, they might get the short end of the stick sometimes. And so this is saying, hey, there's some ways where you're not necessarily compromising. You're able to kind of use this modern technology to spend more time with your family. But it also even goes beyond work. The other way I'm seeing this too is with the fox in particular. It's just talking about other areas of my life, ways I can maybe automate some things that aren't even related to work, things that could help me manage my time more efficiently, calendars and schedules and things like that. So now here's where tarot comes in. So the question I asked of tarot is, how can I best learn this lesson? And the card we have here is the Page of Cups. So one of my phrases that I have with this card is that magic can appear anytime, anywhere, anyhow. And when it comes to this card, I think about this fish just kind of flopping in his cup, and he's like, hey, check out this fish that showed up. I didn't even have to go fishing. It just showed up. And that's kind of what our technology is like, right? If you think about it, it's pretty freaking magical what we can do. I mean, we have the whole world inside of our pocket when it comes to our cell phones. So this is saying like, hey, this is really cool. You're living in a really cool time. That's one of the first things that came up for me. The other thing that came up for me with this card is very creative when it comes to its energy. So this could also say, hey, spend some time in creative energy, which I've been very drawn to lately. You may not know exactly where that's going, right? But if you spend time in that creative energy, things might just come to you. And then you're able to use that for your advantage. So let's face it, learning spiritual lessons can be really tough. So I like to have a big incentive on the other side of this. So I like to ask, what is on the other side of learning this lesson? And what we get here is the world. And to me, the world is completion. The world is also feeling fulfilled. And it's seeing how everything is connected. So usually by learning one lesson really well, you're learning a lot of lessons really well at the same time. And there's this really great quote inside of the modern Nirvana oracle that I love, where it talks about something like, if all circumstances in life and death are karmically perfect, then the modern world must fall under that umbrella of divine perfection. I mean, mind blown right there. And that to me really resonates with this world card. It's that we tend to see technology as not this sacred thing, as this, new thing that's infringing on our sacredness, but really it's all part of it. It's all part of that sacredness. And if I have technology work for me, then I can spend more time giving my gifts to the world. I can spend more time helping people. I could spend more time with my family and enjoying my life. So as you can see, this is a pretty freaking cool spread to try out. And it's easy to add in Lenormand with tarot. I just gave you one example here, but you can use this for any other tarot spreads you have. So as I mentioned before, if you are interested in learning to read Lenormand, here are those details for that free workshop once again. I want to invite you to my new live hands-on workshop, Lenormand for Beginners. This workshop is on Sunday, October 8th at 10 a.m. Pacific time, and inside we are covering how to read Lenormand. Yes, for real, we are going to learn how to read the cards, and not only that, but we are going to put into practice what we learned right away by practicing card combinations and 3-card spreads. Not only will you learn to read Lenormand, but I'm also spilling my tips on how to set up your future readings for success. And at the end, we will talk about my Lenormand Learners community, which is a membership for Lenormand lovers. If you are finally wanting to find your groove with Lenormand, join me by registering for the workshop at emilyrosedivinationcom/workshop. If you can't make the workshop live, that is okay. Make sure to register anyway, and I will send you the replay. I can't wait to see you on October 8th. Thank you all so much for watching, and I can't wait to see you at the workshop.